Hello, Johnny. We're so honored and pleasure to have you on Kev-On-Air today. I've been a huge fan of who you are and your work all along. You're an entrepreneur, somebody who was born and raised in Hong Kong, and also somebody who's very passionate about youth, about tech, and obviously about culture and arts. So, I want to first touch on, in your background, one thing that you've been very heavily involved in is youth. In the recent years, I think there's been a lot of new policies and directions to help Hong Kong youth and also youth in the mainland. What are some of your thoughts on this current space right now?
Thank you, Kevin. Actually, as you mentioned about, I born in Hong Kong and grew up in Hong Kong. All my educations since the primary school to secondary school, university, and postgraduate all finished in Hong Kong. So that I love Hong Kong because all my things come from Hong Kong. So why I very focus on youth developments in Hong Kong, and I want to contribute more to help the Hong Kong youth peoples, especially to widen their eyes view and let them to know more about the world, especially our motherland, mainland China. That's why I spend a lot of efforts since last 15 years to do a lot of youth work. And one of my platforms in the elections of electrical last 2 years ago around, the first thing is I want to help to broaden the development pathway for the Hong Kong youth people. So why I expand not only the financial industry, logistic industry, or tourism, and also tech and culture. That is two important areas to let the young people of Hong Kong with the similar background of me, no family backgrounds, no particular connections, they can have opportunity to uplift the life and the pathway in Hong Kong locally and use our Greater Bay Area or the mainland China whole platforms. I think the new industry development is very important for them, so that why I try to run the elections in Mexico in 2021. So I not only arrange a lot of youth exchange program like the student exchange, student internships since 2010. Actually, very interesting. I take a lot of young people from Hong Kong to go to mainland for exchange, from only 2-3 days to visit a scenery like Beijing, Shanghai. All the students love it, but also to do some longer program like around 1.5 months for the internships in various cities, including Inter Mongolia. All those students in Hong Kong universities, they love and very excited after joining this kind of program and have more chance to know the culture and the actual situations in mainland, their motherland, and make some friends. And then I think that kind of initiatives is very critical to their development and the sense of belonging they are Chinese peoples.
Yes. Yeah. No, I definitely echo your sentiment. I think for our Hong Kong youth to have that exposure in the mainland and to understand opportunities that is available. As a youth commission member, I think a lot of your suggestions we've tried to incorporate into our youth development plan. So we are followers of your wisdom in that direction. I think one thing I've personally noticed that as we've been engaging youth in Hong Kong, especially I think it would be great to have more youth interested in arts and tech. But I've noticed that in Hong Kong, a lot of our youth seem to not be too interested. And even being an entrepreneur, a lot of times as part of our YDC, we engage with different schools and we do talks. And one of my opening questions is I always ask them, how many of our youth in the audience would be interested in tech or being an entrepreneur? And often I would say there's only 1 or 2 or 3 of our students interested. And I find that, is that low compared to other countries? Or what could we be doing more in Hong Kong to instill more youth to be interested in that area?
Yes, it is a very, very big issue. I think the most important points why they don't very interested in tech or culture, because I think most of the students in Hong Kong, they don't have enough self-confidence. They think that thing is far beyond from them. You're a billionaire, is too far beyond from them. They want to have a public housing as their dreams. I think it is not very healthy as a whole in Hong Kong industry, in Hong Kong. I just read the news recently that a guy is age 46 now. This guy spent last 18 years to don't have a full-time job because he don't want to have a jobs, the salaries over the boundary of the have a public housing. So I think the guys just think, a waste of my time of 18 years, of not 18 years. For young people, 18 years is everything, I think. Especially from the 20-something to 30-something, you can do a lot of things. For myself, I actually start my business, not yet to graduate from PhD. I start my own business. That experience is important. I am very happy to share the kind of experience, to share with all my colleagues and also young people. I think the self-governance is say, you can. The matter is you can. When you trust yourself, trust our country, the platform is very, very large. Everything you do, including just mention about tech or culture, it's all the very exciting chance, and you can have bigger dreams in that kind of area. Why I chose that two kind of particular area? Because young people have advantage. As you know, Hong Kong is a very, very rich and stable economy, like the financial industry, a lot of big giants over there. Young people, it's not easy to have big chance in that kind of area. Property market, logistics, all those are not easy. But tech and culture, you can use small piece of land. You can rent a small office, 2 or 3 people together to think a new idea. You can raise a lot of funding if your idea is workable. And also you have talent to let the investor know you have ability to accomplish your goal. I think that kind of industry is very important. But why the young people have not enough confidence for themselves, I think is the sense of belongings of our own country. That is important to all our YDC, for example, as a NGO's owner, we all need to do more to let the young people know what is the world is happening. I think Hong Kong is still have a lot of chance. A lot of people say Hong Kong, have the opportunity for the tech company. I don't agree about that. Because you can see Hong Kong is more piece of land, only thousands, hundreds kilometers land pieces, but we grew over 18 unicorn company since last few years, since the innovation and technology bureaus established since 8 years. As I remember, since 4 years ago, have a tech exchange with Taiwan delegates to Hong Kong. In Taiwan, over 23 million populations. In Hong Kong, it's 7-point-something million people. In Taiwan, no unicorn, 0. At that moment, it's 15. So this comparison, you can see Hong Kong is not bad in technology. So we need to let the young people knows the Hong Kong's young peoples can do it. But all those unicorns companies have a similar things. They are not only focused in Hong Kong. Some of them focus in the whole China market, 1.4 billion population market. And some don't do China market, but overseas market, many other countries. That is the beauties of one country, two system. If you like it, okay, we can embrace our motherland. So there'll be areas to start points because easy, same language, easy to reach, 1 hour evening circle. And if you want to speak English, okay, you can go to overseas. American, you can go to Europe. You can be successful as well. So Hong Kong peoples can have a mix of cultures, Chinese and the Western. So then I think we need to let all the young people know and to trust himself and our governments.
I definitely, Thank you for sharing about the landscape and how, per capita of population, Hong Kong does extremely well with just purely looking at a simple figure of how many unicorns we have. This area, I feel it's something that we hope you could share more with more Hong Kong people and more youth, because I feel they really don't know about it. It's such a shame because a lot of our seniors and our entrepreneurs have done so much. And the Science Park and Cyberport Authority, relevant authorities, in terms of space, in terms of the number of companies they've attracted, the number of top 500, Fortune 500, it's actually very, very comparable to other tech areas around the world. But yet, I feel it's something that is so not spoken about, or people, and even a commoner in Hong Kong, may not be aware of. So I hope that more of this could be done, and hopefully more of our youth can be inspired. One area I want to also touch on is you yourself is actually also a very successful entrepreneur. You've started a number of companies, and your most recent venture is G-Rocket, which actually incubates a number of new companies as well. Could you share a bit about that?
Yes, G-Rocket is an incubator or accelerators to help the young people or new startups to success by our supporting networking, our fundings, and also the experience. I started new venture since 2016. Because at that moment, Hong Kong young people would like to have start their business in mainland China, and that at that moment, the Guangdong government top officials invite me to start a incubator in Shanghai and Guangzhou, Nansha. For those platforms are particularly for Hong Kong young people. They have very good policy, like the taxation policy, like the talent policy, something like that, to help the young people to minimize their costs and then let them to have more chance to success. As you know, when you start up a sim business in Hong Kong, you have faced the high land price, high rental price, and also the very comparatively high human costs. But if you start a sim business in Shenzhen or Guangzhou, maybe your STEM budget, you have double or triple times for you to take off. As a company, you need some time to in the front. If you budget, on half year budget, burn your successful case maybe in 1 year, then you cannot see that anymore. So that company platform, I start 2 incubators at the moment, and then I find that it's very accepted by the young people, and then I copy this model not only in the Guangdong area but also in the Nanjing, Beijing, and also overseas like Korea and Singapore. The thing is, I want to help especially Hong Kong young people and also the mainland youngster to have the business not only in China, but also if they have that chance, they can expand the business to the Northeast Asia or Southeast Asia. Another way around, I want to attract more company from overseas to Hong Kong and mainland China by that kind of G-Rocket accelerators. And for the last few years, I think this is quite interesting and exciting. One example for you, I started the Web3 domain last year, December actually, from now less than a year. We attract over 800 company register under our platforms. Over 100 companies has already started their company register in Hong Kong and start the business as well, fundraising, renting a lot of office, employing some people, some businesses, very interesting. So I think that kind of accelerator can let me to more close to the market, especially with the young entrepreneurs. They have very exciting idea and crazy idea. Yes or no, they can be success. But I think as a young peoples, they can think more big, have more big dream. I think for this experience, I'm happy with it, and I'm hoped to expand that kind of network not only in Asia, but also to the Western country, Europe or America. I think our next round plan, I hope to build a worldwide network for the incubators.
Wow, that's amazing. Many blessings and good wishes on that, and would love to hopefully be able to invite you back on our show to share and learn more about the next phase of as you expand globally. Just now as you touched on G-Rocket, I was hoping if you could share maybe a few salient points. I'm always very curious, what is the key differentiators of Hong Kong entrepreneurs, especially youth entrepreneurs, compared to, let's say you mentioned Korea and Singapore? What is our competitive edge?
Hong Kong have the natural advantage. We are the window to mainland China, the biggest market in Asia or the world, the upcoming market. But Singapore actually in Southeast Asia, they have Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines, also a big market. I think these two economy, we can complement each others. We have similar culture and similar advantage and both disadvantage. We all have very high costs and also limited population. But Korea is different as well. Korea is just so, you can since the last 20 years, this country is amazing. Not only technology, you can see semiconductors, very famous. Those two big companies, Samsung, SK, LG, some is very famous in semiconductor electronics. A lot of innovations. The government is embraced a lot of technology and culture. You can see their drama, the songs, not only in Asia, but also in the world. The star can speak fluent English. Culture actually is all absorbed in around the world in the Western country. So I think but they have another limitation. Their entrepreneurship is, compared to Hong Kong, may not be that high, because all the graduates think their wish, the dream is to join a big company. It's a dream. And Hong Kong is very different.
Yes.
Hong Kong is not only want to join a big company, but some students have some innovation. They want to, I just mentioned about unicorn. For Hong Kong young people, they do a lot of business, start themselves. Like me, my experience, last year in the PhD, I started my business. At that moment, I don't have capital, zero capital, just have some skills, but I can develop software with others, to earn the money at that moment. No. But for the large country like Korea, I think the young people will not think about that. They will think, how can I apply, go into Samsung, go into SK, that kind of company, they plan to that pathway to develop. So I think all those economy together, Hong Kong and Korea, maybe Singapore together, we can have some cooperation strength. So why I set the point in that kind of three country or city in order to have to complement each other.
Thank you for sharing such very insightful points, because I really think a lot of our overseas viewers don't understand the heterogeneity or the differences within the Asian economies. I think a lot of times the West views Asia as more homogenous or very similar, but I think you just rightly, pointed out that actually, even taking three countries that in Asia, they are all very uniquely different.
Yes.
But yet there are unique opportunities that if we understand each country, entrepreneurs and youth can tap into those opportunities. But it's a matter of understanding and a matter of exploring these opportunities. I remember your post-COVID trips, the first destination was also Korea. And just now you mentioned about how Korea as a country, in the last 20 years, uniquely, it's been able to develop, especially art and culture, very quickly to be, I would say, a global influencer. In New York and in billboards in the US and UK, Blackpink, BTS is #1, and concerts are packed and sold out. What are some of the things you've observed or opportunities you see in art and culture space for Korea?
Yes. Last year, during the COVID-19, I made my first trip to Korea in last year, July. I still remember that I got a 7-day quarantine in Hong Kong after the trip. And then after this trip, I make another 2 trips from Hong Kong to Korea. Very different. You just mentioned about last 20 years. I think the last financial tsunamis in Korea, all members, the recovery of Korea in the Asia 4 economic dragons is the fastest Korea. And the transformation of their economy is very easy to see that. Because I think the policy in government is one of the important driver of that. First of all, I think hardware and software. The software development is very comprehensive. The reason why their artists or the star the singer can influence all the world, not only in Asia. I think the planning is long. The government has a lot of programs to send their youngsters to study abroad in overseas. I think this is the whole planning and the budgeting funding for the governments to help the industry. And also for the movie producer, the in-house or the in-town movie productions, when they can have chance to export to overseas, the government have subsidies for them, the cash subsidies to help them. So that why they eager to do a lot of things, not only anything their own country, but also the other market. This is a very big incentive for the producer to do a lot of production. You can see the Netflix streaming platform. Most of the popular categories from Korea, not only the movie, but also the drama, something like that. So that I think the government policy to have the software break to young peoples and the policy way, and also create a lot of hardware platforms. I think I have sometimes to visit their hardware facilities. I think all those can see the heavy investment from the government together with the company. One more point is they're large company. We can name a few large tech company in Korea. Those companies have very close connection with those entertainment company. As you can see, their young artists can build up their publicity. On the way on, can help the products to go out. We can see that the whole industry is an industry chain, from the electronics products, the artists, and also the performance and also the entertainment contents. All can see is a whole picture, whole blueprint together. So that country can have a very closed loop ecosystem, can have not only the cultural industry, but also the technology industry. I can see that in Korea, that is one of the very big ecosystem they are running. And also I can see like Hong Kong Innovation and Technology Fund in Korea is very popular. The government is very eager to use their resources or subsidies to help the small company, especially the small company, to develop the new technology or new products. And also that funding is quite easy to apply. The process is very short compared to Hong Kong. Okay, actually, I can see that. So because I meet a lot of SME in Korea, they develop a lot of software, new technology like AI, like the metaverse. I asked them, why you develop so much technology products, more products? They said, government give us funding to develop that. Can see any market of you? They said that the government, the first thing is not asking the market, where is the market? Asking the innovation. Where's the innovation? Where is the new things? Where is it? Also, I can see that their company and the government cooperations is very close. One point I can share with you that is metaverse. I can remember I'm maybe the first ESCO members in Hong Kong to have a metaverse office.
I remember that.
1.5 years ago. That is a long time. At that moment, my idea is from Korea actually. But Korea incubators develop those metaverse office. I think it's very interesting. 2 years ago, the Korean friends let me know that they are governors using metaverse to do the campaign, voting campaign. Yeah, 2 years ago already. Yeah, I get that idea and adopt it in Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, it's very new things, but in Korea, it's okay. It's not very new, but this tool is one of very essential things to reach their voters already in Korea 2 years ago.
One thing I was hoping to get your insights and your perspective is Korea in itself and the learnings that you have already accumulated. What are some things you think we could try to implement in Hong Kong and in the mainland? Especially for me, I really think arts and culture and music is a way of peacefully uniting people. I mean, I was at the Korean Mama Awards last year. That was in Japan. And one of the slogan is music makes one. And just the way that people connect with each other through arts and music, I really echo that sentiment. And I think this is one area that, you know, our country can really use more of to bring peace and also just to unite people around the world. You know, just from the Korea sharing and the teachings, what are some things you think we could try to implement in Hong Kong and in the mainland?
Yes, I cannot agree more than this. The cultural arts can unite peoples because we all love music. Yeah, can no boundary between countries, race, whatever. Yeah, I think a number of things I think Hong Kong can try to adopt, and some of them actually Hong Kong government is going to implement. I remember before the pandemic, 5 years ago, I'm one of the members of the ACD. I joined a tour to Korea, the cultural exchange. I joined their PRAMS, Performing Arts Marketplace. It's very successful. The marketplace attract a lot of live performance shows, not only from Hong Kong, but also from other countries around the world. All the countries to demonstrate the show and sell the show to the buyers. And Hong Kong government react quite fast. And they just got $40 million to launch this kind of events in Hong Kong next year. I think this is a very good move because Hong Kong has that potential. I think, you know, at Basel, it's very successful commercial, visual art exhibition or a platform for the exchange and transactions for artists or products. We can remember 30 years ago, 20 years ago, Hong Kong's movie industry is influenced a lot of peoples in Asia, at least Asia, including Korea, including Japan, Southeast Asia. I just went to Korea. They are also talking about Jackie Chan, talking about Stephen Chow. All those are very idol for them. Leslie Cheung. But nowadays, why we cannot have more and more famous stars up and coming to reach the Asian market? We can have Hong Kong local markets, no problem. Bay Area market is okay, but we cannot have more reach out to other countries because one of the big problems is the number of productions. 30 years ago, 1 year in Hong Kong, we have over 400 films, movies produced. Over 400.
Wow.
Okay, 1 year. Single year. Nowadays, 20, 30, at most 40 production a year.
That's 10%.
10%. So that's the problem. In our 14, 5 years past, the cultural exchange center internationally is one of the goals in Hong Kong. So that we have to have this kind of products, not only the music, not only the movies, to go around the world to export. That's important to have Hong Kong to resume our cultural market.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, again, very insightful points for Hong Kong and also for the mainland. you've taken and embraced those opportunities, and hugely successful entrepreneur and also a politician. What are some of your pearls of wisdom for our youth in how they should be living their lives if they want to be as successful as you?
I think I cannot say I'm very successful, but I'm a hardworking peoples, and very important that is how to manage the times. I remember that I just started the first business. I work every day over 16 hours a day. I spend only a few hours to sleep, no time to pay, every hours to work on our things. I think hardworking is the must. And also another thing is to have a commitment to success. Commitment to success is important for everything, including entrepreneurs and also working in a large company. Because a lot of times you can face a lot of difficulties. Just like me in starting my business, I face a lot of problems and difficulties. And I have the dignity, commitment to success. I can take over the obstacle. That is very important. And finally, the confidence. You have to believe to yourself and believe to the countries.
So hardworking, time management, that commitment and drive and that persistence to success, and also being able to manage all that is so key. And I think with that, I wanted to ask, you're a man of many hats. One is that you are also a Hong Kong delegate at the CPPCC level, and you've been a long time Hong Kong delegate. What are some areas you're currently focusing in at the CPPCC level as a Hong Kong delegate?
Yes, I served the CPPCC the second terms. From now on, yes, around 6 to 7 years. I remember the first term of 5 years, I submitted over 30 proposals to the central governments. And one of them I'm very happy to share with you is about the data privacy and the data economies, which the chairman of the CPPCC, Wang Yang, have host meetings to discuss this topic together with me and other few delegates. And then finally have a new law has established, which is very important for the digital economy of the whole countries, because data science, data industry, like a few internet company, they use the data as the drive the very large platform to become the most successful companies in mainland China or the Asia, very interesting. And the second phase is how to uplift, to upgrade the traditional economy by data economy. The digital transformations is also very, very huge potential. So I make a proposal to help to do the data economies. That's the first few things I think is very good for my proposal to share with you. Another area is how to help the Hong Kong young peoples. I suggest the central governments to get more policy. I just mentioned about in Shanghai, in Nansha, Hengqin, the new policy to help Hong Kong young people to adopt and to develop the business in the Greater Bay Areas. That kind of policy actually to implement in the local governments in Guangdong, a few cities. Finally, I think it is also, I think, what I have to do something to help the young people in Hong Kong. I think as a CPPCC members, okay, like me, two things we have to do. One is how we translate the Hong Kong language to central governments, to let the central government's leaders know what the really Hong Kong young people is thinking. Actually, I did a lot of small group discussions with the leaders of the central governments. I really share with them what's really happening in Hong Kong, young people's, especially the last few years, a lot of things happening in Hong Kong. I think young people is really, some of them really doesn't know about the real situations in it, but they are afraid of how they can have their good future, uplift themselves. And the other way around, the second thing is to implement, interpret the central government policy to Hong Kong general publics. You know, our Chinese wordings in the central government's policy paper, maybe a few words, but not easy to to understand every word. I spent a lot of times to learn, to read the central government's papers and the government officials' sayings. But it is important. Hong Kong, as a Hong Kong people, we are part of the country. We need to know better the central government policy.
That's on a national level. Thank you for serving Hong Kong on the data privacy, the tech, and also Greater Bay and youth, hugely key issues. And I think the most important is, as you said, is explaining policies to Hong Kong common people, what that means and what are the opportunities. And I think a lot of times that communication and explanation is so key. And at also in Hong Kong, I know you're doing very similar work as one of our distinguished LegCo member, again helping explain a lot of government policies to different Hong Kong people. I know you're one of actually the very few LegCo members that actually has 5 district offices as well. What are some areas as a LegCo member you're currently focused on?
Yes, as my election platform just mentioned about 2 major things. The first thing is to have more diversified economy structure, to expand more chance, let the young people can go live up. Another thing is related to housing, public housing. Because I born in a not suitable living house and have a chance to go to public housing when I was 4 years old around. Then I hoped to push the government, the housing policy, to let the families with the children's, maybe age less than 6-year-olds, can have some priority to go to public housings when they are living in the not suitable for living very small apartments. Then I want to help for these few years to push the government not only to develop more housing, public housing, but also have some priority and to prioritize the line. Yeah.
I think in the past few years, we've been trying to see if we can increase the number of transitional housing, especially to help the single families and low-income families, because it's a very critical path to them having a sense of upward mobility. Thank you so much, Johnny, for today, for your time, and we're so honored. We learned so much about all the many different areas that you're involved in, and we hope to be able to invite you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johnny.
Kevin.
Thank you.